How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brown Logan, and there's been a lot of talk about DACA over the past few days, ever since Trump decided he was going to rescind it. Well, maybe he is going to rescind it. Maybe he's not in the next 6 months. I can't really call it. I saw this tweet on his timeline. Shout out to my man Kevin for pointing this out to me earlier. I saw this tweet and I'm like, okay, this is kind of concerning, but you see it on the screen before you. He says that Congress has 6 months to legalize DACA. I don't know if we're playing 4D chess or if he really wants it to be legalized. I can't call it, but I digress. To get back on topic of this video, there's been a lot of reaction to DACA, and one Barack Hussein Obama gave his 2 cents about it on Facebook. And what I want to do is just read it with you. I've not read it yet. I've only read like a couple first sentences of it, so I really don't know what he said. I just heard it was kind of controversial, and people have been asking me, hey, do the story about that. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and read it with you live. Like I said, I've not really read it, only the first couple of sentences of it, but it's pretty lengthy from what I've been able to ascertain. So without further ado, let's go ahead and read it. All right. Immigration can be a controversial topic. We all want safe, secure borders and a dynamic economy, and people of goodwill can have legitimate disagreements about how to fix our immigration system so that everybody plays by the rules. Okay, so far so good, you know, playing by the rules. Hey, I want that. Let's be lawful. Everything is good. But let's continue. But that's not what the action that the White House took today is about. This is about young people who grew up in America, kids who study in our schools, young adults who are starting careers, patriots who pledge allegiance to the flag. These dreamers are Americans in their hearts. Hold on. Wait, stop. They're Americans in their hearts. What does that got to do with anything? I could feel like I'm a millionaire in my heart, but what does that got to do with me actually having the money? It doesn't matter. Like, either I'm a millionaire or I'm not. I could feel like I'm Steve Jobs at heart, but my name is Anthony Logan. I'm not Steve Jobs. So come on. In their hearts, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. Well, isn't that what really matters on paper? Isn't that what really matters? Either you're an American or you're not. If you're not a citizen, then that's your problem. I can't do nothing for you, but let's keep going. They were brought to this country by their parents, sometimes even as infants. Now, that whole thing, sometimes, that was a good word right there you use, sometimes, because we all know that it's not all the time. Sometimes you got kids coming by themselves, unaccompanied by any adults. Maybe an adult will come. It might not necessarily be their parents. Sometimes the air quotes parents will bring a 15 or 16-year-old. I mean, you can't conflate babies coming with no, ability to be able to have any kind of say so versus a 16-year-old who could really come by itself or herself. They may not know a country besides ours. They may not even know a language besides English. They often have no idea they're undocumented until they apply for a job or college or driver's license. Okay. Now, if they don't know their whole lives that they have no papers, they're here illegally, whose fault is that? Is it my fault? Is it your fault? Is it Trump's fault? Is it Jeff Sessions' fault? Whose fault is it? Maybe blame their parents for not properly preparing them for life in the USA. How are you going to not know? Like, how would you not know your whole life if you undocumented? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Over the years, politicians of both parties have worked together to write legislation that would have told these young people, our young people, that if your parents brought you here as a child, if you've been here a certain number of years, and if you're willing to go to college or serve in the military, then you'll get a chance to stay and earn your citizenship. And for years while I was president, I asked Congress to send me such a bill. Okay, now let's stop right here. Look, they're not our people. If you're here illegally, you're not our people. I'm sorry. Whatever you got going on with your life at home, your parents, that's your business. But until you become a citizen, you're not my people. You're a human being, yeah, but you're not an American. That bill never came. And because it made no sense to expel talented, driven, patriotic young people from the only country they know. Hold on. How are you going to say that all of them are one kind of way? How are you going to say they're just talented, driven, and patriotic? How do you know the internal workings of every person that is a dreamer or undocumented migrant? How do you really know that? You have no idea. Some of them, sure, are going to be nice, patriotic. They're going to do everything right. They might even go to the military and fight well for the country. But you also have gangbangers. You also have welfare drainers. You also have people that are just here reaping the benefits and sending it back to the native country, wherever they may be, whether it be Mexico, whether it be somewhere in Europe, whether it be China, whether it be somewhere in Africa, wherever. I don't even know where I was at. Let me find my space. Okay. My administration acted to lift the shadow of deportation from these young people so that they could continue to contribute to our communities and our country. We did so based on the well-established legal principle of prosecutorial discretion employed by Democratic and Republican presidents alike. Because our immigration enforcement agencies have limited resources, and it makes sense to focus these resources on those who come illegally to this country to do us harm. Okay, but how about this? Let's say you're at a traffic stop, right? And all of a sudden, you get your ID ran or whatever, or you have no ID. Now it's found out that you're here illegally. So what should happen? You should just be able to stay and do whatever you want to do. Should the policy be you can come to the country illegally and stay as long as you don't commit a violent felony? How does it make any sense? Because if that's the case, you're going to have it's going to be a magnet of people to come to the country. It'll be unfettered. Now, how many people can you really take? Because right now we're trying to lower the legal immigration, cut it by half. So if we're going to lower the legal immigration and cut it by half because we have our own issues to deal with, like you said, we have limited resources. It's funny how when it comes to actually deporting people, we have limited resources. But when it comes to bringing them over here and giving them jobs, money, school, whatever, then it's endless resources. That's kind of crazy, but I digress. Deportations of criminals went up. That's good. Some 800,000 young people stepped forward, met rigorous requirements, and went through background checks, and America grew stronger as a result. Did we really? I mean, in a period of time since they have come, the dreamers out of the shadows, how have we improved as a country? I've not seen any improvement as a result of them coming forward, and them coming forward didn't change anything. All they did maybe was getting more benefits. So how does that impact a nation in a positive way? They did not become citizens. They did not become legal. They continue to do whatever they were doing before they became a dreamer. So how does that affect us in a positive way? How about trying to divert some resources that you gave to them to regular citizens? But today, that shadow has been cast over some of our best and brightest young people. Once again, to target these young people is wrong because they have done nothing wrong. Yes, they have done something wrong. Yes, they did do something. They didn't do nothing. Okay. I know it's a double negative, but you understand what I mean. They did something wrong. They're here illegally. Now, whether their parents brought them when they came by themselves is irrelevant. The fact is that they're here illegally. So that's what they have done wrong. That's what they're doing wrong. Them being here illegally is doing something wrong. It doesn't really matter. It's like this. If I get driven to a place and the people that are with me break in and then I'm with them, so I can just get off and say, you know what? It wasn't my fault. I got in the car, but I didn't know where I was going. And come on, it's silly. To target these young people is wrong because they've done nothing wrong. It is self-defeating because they want to start new businesses, staff our labs, serve in our military, and otherwise contribute to the country we love. And it is cruel. What if our kid's science teacher, our friendly neighbor, turns out to be a dreamer? Where are we supposed to send her? To a country that she doesn't know or remember, with a language she may not even speak? Hey, you know what? I understand people's problems. Sometimes you kind of caught in a weird situation, but look, that's not my problem. You're here illegally because now what you're doing is trying to open the door for an amnesty. These are sympathetic reasons you have for amnesty. They'll say, oh, well, I can't go back. I don't know Spanish. I don't know whatever language. I don't know Mandarin. I don't know Swedish, whatever language I speak of my native country that I'm supposed to be in. I can't speak it, so then you can't send me back. Or I have no connections there. I have no family there. It's like, look, man, you got to follow the law. You can't just come over here illegally. I don't understand how hard it is to understand. It's really simple. Let's be clear. The action taken today isn't required legally. It's a political decision and a moral question. Whatever concerns or complaints Americans may have about immigration in general, we shouldn't threaten the future of this group of young people who are here through no fault of their own, who pose no threat, who are not taking away anything from the rest of us. They are that pitcher on our kids' softball team, that first responder who helps out his community after a disaster, the cadet in ROTC who wants nothing more than to wear the uniform of the country that gave him a chance. Kicking them out won't lower the unemployment rate or lighten anyone's taxes or raise anyone's wages. Really? You don't think so? So you don't think that all the so-called dreamers, they don't pay no taxes? I mean, they here pretty much under the table. They send a lot of money back to Mexico or whatever country, like China, somewhere in Europe, Africa, whatever. They send their money back. They repatriate a lot of money back to their country of origin. So what if we had that money here in the USA rather than in foreign places? Okay. And what else you say? You're talking about friendly neighbors. I mean, how you know, like, how you going to just characterize them as one kind of way? You don't know who these people are. You really don't know. 800,000 people think they're all going to be just nice and upstanding. I mean, come on. There's been cases of people that were dreamers that go out and murder people, black people, white people, other Hispanics, whoever the case may be, whatever the case may be. So you can't just characterize them as one kind of way. That's really just not being, it's not being sincere. You're trying to cater to people's emotions and tug on their heartstrings, but I'm not really with it. Let's continue. It is precisely because this action is contrary to our spirit and to common sense that business leaders, faith leaders, economists, and Americans of all political stripes called on the administration not to do what it did today. And now that the White House has shifted its responsibility for these young people to Congress, it's up to members of Congress to protect these young people and our future. I'm heartened by those who've suggested that they should. And I join my voice. This is Barack Obama talking, if you forgot, with the majority of Americans who hope they step up and do it with a sense of more urgency that matches the urgency these young people feel. Now, how do you know it's the majority of Americans? Where's the poll? Where's the numbers that say that? I'm not quite sure about that. I don't think the air quotes majority of Americans want amnesty. I don't think that's what we want. I'm not really sure about that. I think if you ask the average person, what would they want? Would they want more resources dedicated to them as an American citizen or to people that are here illegally from foreign countries? They probably would choose the former and not the latter. So you can't just say something like that with such conviction when you don't know if it's true or if it's false. Let's keep moving. Ultimately, this is about basic decency. This is about whether we are people who kick hopeful young strivers out of America or whether we treat them the way we want our own kids to be treated. It is about who we are as a people and who we want to be. Okie dokie. What makes us American is not a question of what we look like or where our names come from or the way we pray. See, I see what that was. That was about some Islam. I see what that was. I don't know who wrote this, but whoever did it, you get an E for effort. What makes us American is our fidelity to a set of ideals, that all of us are created equal, that all of us deserve the chance to make of our lives what we will, that all of us share an obligation to stand up, speak out, and secure our most cherished values for the next generation. That's how America has traveled this far. That's how, if we keep at it, we will ultimately reach that more perfect union. Okay. Okay. Obama. I think you need to just go ahead and just continue to be retired as a president. I'm not really trying to hear too much from you anymore. I don't know who wrote that. I know you didn't write it by yourself. If you wrote it at all, you probably just posted it. You probably just got sent that line of text in the email and they say, okay, post that. This is stupid. I mean, look, if you're here illegally, you need to find a way to get legal. I'm sorry. Like all this stuff about being a dreamer, being here for 20 years, undocumented or whatever, that is your business. You got to figure out a way to get it done. Okay. I'm worried about myself, my people as American citizens. If you're here legally, I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you're gay, straight, as long as you're not a criminal and you're here legally, everything is good. Everything is good. But if you're here illegally, then I can't do anything for you. You have to go back to your country of origin. Now, if you have parents that brought you here as a child, I understand. When I say child, I don't mean somebody that's under 18. I don't mean no 17-year-old with a full beard and stuff like that. I'm talking about a baby, an infant, somebody who had no agency over their own ability to be able to travel and traverse throughout the world. Somebody who was brought against their own will to a place. I got sympathy for you a little bit, but at the same time, I don't, because look, it doesn't matter what happened in somebody's childhood. That does not give me an excuse as an adult today to be able to just do whatever I want. Okay. It just doesn't. People say, oh, well, they grew up in poverty, had no other choice to come here. look, their parents need to be responsible for their children being brought here at a young age illegally. And if you say that it's okay for them to do that, what you do is now you create an incentive. Now you create a backdoor to amnesty to say, okay, the parents can sacrifice for their children, meaning they can just kind of like air quotes live in the shadows. And then once their kids get to be of age, they get to go to college and all kind of stuff like that, all kind of grants, all kind of loans. I saw something, or I didn't see it. I had a caller, shout out to the caller, I forget your name, but I'll try to link to that show in the box below, who said that DACA recipients get like $3,800 a month in welfare benefits, from all different places. Like cumulatively, it'd be like $3,800. So I'm looking to see where those numbers actually come from. I'm looking to see what kind of money they actually get and how they get it for being a DACA recipient. And this is more than people that actually need the help get. And the caller was calling from Los Angeles. In LA, you have the very infamous Skid Row. You have veterans out there on Skid Row who are being kicked out of homeless shelters. But you got DACA recipients, people that are here illegally, breaking the law every day by being here, get all kind of benefits, all kind of kickbacks, all kind of consideration above our American citizen veterans. I'm not somebody that hates, air quotes, immigrants. I'm somebody that loves Americans and America. You see the stars and stripes over my right hand shoulder right here. I love America. If you're here illegally, then I have no sympathy for you beyond just a little bit. If you were here as a small baby or something like that. But even I may feel that way about you as a small baby. If you were brought here against your will, if you had no agency over your own travel, that does not give you an excuse to be here illegally. Find a way to get a green card or something like that. Don't just say, well, I should be able to be here because I was brought as a child. Because like I said, that's a backdoor to amnesty, and I'm not with it. So what do you think? Do you think that Barack Obama's, air quotes, handwritten or personalized letter on Facebook, do you think it was correct in what he was saying about, don't kick them out? They're your neighbors, they're your friends, they're your coworker, they're your EMT, this, that, and the third. Is that correct? Or do you think I'm pretty much correct in my assertion that a lot of this is probably just written by somebody else? It's meant to tug on your heartstrings to get you feeling like what he's saying is correct, even though factually it's not, even though the whole DACA thing was illegal to begin with. It was unconstitutional. Whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.